Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for Championship preview and predictions. Round 34. No sooner has round 33 finished at the weekend. And it is a 3-game week. We're into Tuesday, Wednesday night games. Bring it on. That is what I say. We're going to go through every fixture in round 34. We're going to be making predictions. We need your help in the comments. So first of all, say hello in the chat. And second, hit the like button. Let's see if we can get to 50 in double quick time and then maybe even higher. Let's say some hellos to Mark, Alex, Callum, Nosage, Ewan, Ollie, Daniel, Jay, Phil, Dave, Justin, Wayne, Stephen. Have I said hello to everybody? We'll do a couple more in a sec. Will, welcome along. Welcome, everybody. Thank you as ever to Betfair and Football 365, who are our partners for the preview show this season. Betfair, head over there if you want to follow any of my predictions or indeed any of your own. We'll give you the odds for all of the scores I predict for each and every game. And Football 365 is the home of the fabled Football 365 predictor game. It's being a bit temperamental at the moment. It may take a few seconds to load up, but you can get over to football365.com. Go across the top where it says Championship Predictor. Sign up with your email address and join in the fun and games with the rest of us. Hit that like button, guys. Let's try and get it up to 50 as soon as possible. So hi to Fulham58, Chris, Hamza, Andrew. Have we said hello to everybody? I think we have, in which case we better crack on with this. Your games are ticking along the bottom there. And the first one is Fulham versus Peterborough, everybody. Fulham, draw or posh. Fulham, draw or posh. It has the air of an absolute home banker, doesn't it? Darren Ferguson walked out, resigned, however you want to word it, with Peterborough yesterday night, wasn't it? In the wake of that defeat against Darby, Peterborough are now below a team with a 21-point deduction, as well as Barnsley are, to be fair. And Darren Ferguson didn't fancy it anymore. Peterborough are, well, we've looked at the points per game now, haven't we? Peterborough and Barnsley are just significantly worse than everybody else, aren't they? Darby and Reading with their points deductions, if you struck them back on, those two would be well clear. And, of course, they're playing Fulham. Fulham, who did lose at the weekend to a decent Huddersfield side who are 15 games undefeated, but still, this smells of a home banker, and I will be at the game as well. Get your predictions in. Fulham, draw, Peterborough. There's got to be some consequence for playing the Joker on this one. If I'm hearing Peterborough from anybody in there, you've got to have something riding on it, because I've got to be checking people's minds here, haven't I? So we need to make the stakes higher here, or you've got to explain it somehow. But there you go. I'll give you the numbers anyway for what they're worth. So in the form table, 8-game form, Fulham first, Peterborough 24th. Homes and aways is interesting. Fulham are actually 16th in the 8-game home table. I've had 2 defeats in the last 8 at home. Peterborough are 24th in the away table. Goals for and against, Fulham by 21 by 22 and by 21, and in the table by 22 places. Predictions in Fulham, draw or Peterborough. We get lots of contrary people just say Peterborough because they think it's going to be funny. So I need a reason. I need a consequence. Yeah, I need a reason or a consequence here if we're seeing any of this nonsense in the chat. Remember the West Brom game? I've got lots of Peterboroughs there. Yes. Right, where are we going to go in here? Fulham, 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 Fulham. Here we go. Well, there you go. Look, it feels like a home banker, doesn't it? I am completely with you lot. Apologies, Peterborough fans, but we don't even know who the manager's going to be of essentially the worst team in form at the moment against the league leaders. So home. I am headed over to the Football 365 website. I'll go easy, and I'm going to go 3-0, I think. 3-0 for Fulham against Peterborough. 7-1 over at betfair.com. As ever, please gamble responsibly. 18 plus only. Be gamble aware. Only bet what you can afford. Right, game number 2. Hit the like button, by the way. 21 likes. Let's get that one up to 50. Hit the like button. Game number 2 has been postponed. Swansea versus Bournemouth. We have heard today of storm damage at Swansea Stadium, so that game cannot go ahead. We're not going to make a prediction. Maybe we can talk about it a bit in the Q&A about Bournemouth's. Chris had done a good tweet, our friend Chris in the chat, about Bournemouth's potential where they can actually fit these fixtures in, because Nottingham Forest is still in the FA Cup as well. That is one of the games in hand now for Bournemouth. So, look, it hasn't done Bournemouth any harm not playing last weekend, because the two teams directly below them didn't win. But Bournemouth will not be playing this weekend. Neither will Swansea. Bournemouth will still be second after the midweek round of games. No one can catch them. They've got a 4-point gap. Swansea, on the other hand, could drop 2 places depending on both Birmingham and Cardiff. Okay, let's move on. And this feels like quite a big game, doesn't it? Sheffield United versus Blackburn. Get your predictions in, please, guys. Sheffield United draw or Blackburn? Sheffield United draw, Blackburn. Blades draw, Rovers. Now, if everything stopped now, this would be a playoff semi-final first leg. 6th place going away to 3rd place. 6th place playing at home to 3rd place. I am right. I just got that the wrong way round. Sheffield United versus Blackburn. They are 6th and 3rd at the moment, but they're trending in different directions. Blackburn have dropped right off in the 8-game form table. 20th, Blades 2nd. And remember, in the 10 and 12 game form table, Sheffield United are 1st. Morgan Gibbs White is back and back amongst the goals. He got a couple and an assist as well. And Blackburn are not amongst the goals. And Ben Brereton Diaz is probably going to be out. I haven't heard any update, but he limped out, didn't he? They didn't play at the weekend. So we'll find out about Mr. Brereton Diaz and see what happens there. But I think it's skewing a lot in Sheffield United's favour, given the current direction of travel for both teams. Get your thoughts in. Sheffield United draw, Blackburn. Numbers. So form table, Sheffield United by 18. Homes and aways, Sheffield United by 2. Both impressive, both in the top 6 for goals for and goals against. And in the table, obviously, Blackburn are 3 places higher. But if we add a recency element to our analysis, it does favour Sheffield United. Let's see what you lot are saying in the chat on really big game this. 3rd place versus 6th. Let's dive in here. Where we got predictions? Right. Rage. Blades. Draw. Bogle out for the season. Good point, Ollie. Although Bulldog did smash a volley in. That's no consolation to Jaden Bogle, is it? But we hope he gets well soon. Draw, Blades. Draw, Blades. Draw, Blades, Blades. Blackburn. Draw. Blades. Draw. Blades. Blades. Score draw. Rovers. Blades. Blades. Think the form will carry them. Blades for the momentum. Yeah, might be something in that. Blades. There we go. So look, not a lot behind Blackburn. I agree with you lot. I think the Blackburn goals drying up and the Sheffield United form does say to me, home. And I think there's a shutout in this one, and it's shut down. That's not me, and it's shut down. Sheffield United 2, Blackburn 0. I've just plugged in on the predictor game there. You will get 15-2 over at betfair.com if that particular prediction comes in. Please gamble responsibly if you are going to head over to Betfair. How are we doing for likes? Anybody? Can I find out on my iPad up here? Hit that like button if you're in the stream. We're trying to get to 50. We got 31. We're doing okay. Keep the likes coming. Really, really helps the stream reach as many people as possible. Not just silly fun and games. QPR versus Blackpool. Predictions, please. QPR draw, Pool. Rangers draw, Blackpool. How do you see this one going? QPR have tailed off in the same way Blackburn have, in exactly the same way Blackburn have, actually. 2 points in the last 4. Lot of reliance on Willock and Chair. Obviously, that's okay. every great team or every team, period, relies on their best players. That's fine. But nobody else seems to be contributing goals, assists, etc. Now, for Rangers, and they've had a little bit of a drop-off. At the same time as Blackpool, and we know what Blackpool are like when they get going under Neil Critchley. They tend to win for a while. They've been in good form, Blackpool, and it was only... look, I know they've only got 2 points in 3 games, but there's been a couple... they drew at Cardiff, who'd been in good form, and they drew at Coventry as well. The only defeat in there was that one against Bournemouth, where Bournemouth scored on 86 and on 95. So I contend Blackpool are in better form than QPR. I would argue that QPR have probably got more star power than Blackpool, given Blackpool have come up from League One. But it doesn't feel like there's a lot in this one to me. Be interested in what you guys think, despite the fact that it's QPR by 11 in the league table. In terms of the form table, QPR by 1, homes and aways, Blackpool by 1. In terms of goals, the only thing to write home about, QPR third in terms of goals scored, but it's dried up a bit. And I'm not seeing Austin, Dykes, Gray really weighing in with their fair share, maybe those strikers. As I said, 11 up for QPR in the table. But come on, we've got to add the recency element to that. Get your predictions in, please. Rangers draw, Blackpool, QPR draw, Pool. Let's see what you lot say. I'd be interested to see which way this one goes. Not much in this one, I don't think. Where shall we start? I think we're starting with Rage again. Rage Against the Machine, killing in the name of down and out. Yeah, right. Okay. And you do what they told you. 1-1. 1-1. Draw. Pull, draw, pull, Rangers. I don't know what that means. Oh, Rangers win. There you go. Rangers, draw. Pull, pull. Pull and then a draw there. Where else we got? Blackpool, Rangers draw, Rangers draw. What's this last one? I can't see there. And Mike's played his 0-0. That gives me a chance to press my favourite button. That doesn't mean that I'm playing it. I'm not playing it. It's QPR, for goodness sake. But I am going to go for a draw. Actually, I don't think Rangers get straight out of their funk. Although I have to say, QPR are becoming a bit of a Huddersfield for me now. I do get them wrong quite often. So, draw. Let's assume that the kind of downturn from Rangers, Blackpool, it's going to even out. And I'm going to go for a straightforward 1-1 in this one. You will only get 5-1 from Betfair on that. And, well, look, if we're assuming, I've already predicted a Blackburn defeat and Bournemouth aren't playing, so it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but people like QPR are then very much reliant on that Bournemouth fixture pile up and that hard end to the season. Keep those likes coming. I'll have a look on the iPad and see how we're doing for likes. 37, come on. Let's get up to 50. Hit that like button. And we will talk about Huddersfield Town. Take a bow, Huddersfield. 2-0 they won at Fulham. 15 games undefeated for Huddersfield, who look a far cry from the team that got abjectly relegated from the Premier League with the third worst points total of all time, and the team that scrapped for relegation under the Cowleys and had to beat West Brom 2 games from the end of the season. And then last season, they conceded the most goals in the league. And I think we all agreed if the league had gone 10 games longer, I think it would have been Huddersfield that might have been going. They're in terrible form along with Bristol City, the worst team in the league for the last 24 games of last season. But they're not like that anymore, Huddersfield. They defend well. They're well organised. They're good on set plays. And they've developed some really good players. And just a good side, aren't they? And yes, I've doubted them many times. But look, it looks very real, doesn't it? 53 points at 33 games. Huddersfield in 5th place. Well played, Carlos Corberán. And it's been well played, Steve Morrison, as well recently for Cardiff. So get your predictions in. Huddersfield draw, Cardiff, Huddersfield draw, or Cardiff. I do think in the main, Cardiff's good run has been predicated on home form. We watched that game against Coventry, beat Peterborough 4 as well. The away win came at Barnsley, and Barnsley, of course, bottom of the table. So I'm not sure I fancy Cardiff to go to Huddersfield and get anything. You let me know what you think. Here are the numbers. Form, Huddersfield by 1, 6th against 7th. Not much in that. Homes and aways, 11th and 11th. Tight. The only thing to write home about in terms of goals for and against is that Cardiff's defence is not very good over the course of the season. However, in the past few games, look, a 1 against Blackpool in the last game, a 0 against Coventry, okay, 2 against Millwall, but then 2 other zeros. So there is a recency thing on this that Cardiff's defence has improved. So, look, it's tight, other than Huddersfield are on a tear and there's something in the air there, isn't it? So will that be the difference? Otherwise, it feels like a draw. But Huddersfield are just doing the business at the moment. Where should we land on this one? Ewan, home. After the Lord Mayor's show, there you go. Huddersfield. There's a 0-0 coming out. You press my button. I like it. There we go. We should get a sound effect for that. We should get Warney saying something, shouldn't we? Bowling Warney. That's the worst Australian accent anyone's ever heard. Right. Huddersfield. There's one for Cardiff. There we go. Town, home, Huddersfield. A couple of 0-0s coming in. Huddersfield bench serial muggers. Yeah. Woof Woof Bark Terriers. Huddersfield are beatable. You just have to not underestimate them. Absolutely. Home. And a Desmond the potted plant. There he is. We need to get a Desmond Tutu picture on the potted plant. Look, I'm not backing against Huddersfield. I'm just not doing it. So, home. They have mugged me off too many times. I like their form. I like their durability. I will go for Huddersfield. I think Cardiff will score. I don't know why. Something tells me Huddersfield aren't keeping a clean sheet in this one. So I'll go for my friendly old 2-1er. Always hedge your bets on a 2-1er. 7-1 from betfair.com for a 2-1 to Huddersfield, which, if my predictions come to pass, would see Huddersfield go above both QPR and Blackburn into third place. I think Huddersfield have got the easiest game out of the three if we're assuming Blackpool's form is going to maintain and QPR are struggling to get things moving at the moment. How are we doing for likes? 40. Hit the like button, guys. Let's see if you can get us up to 50 likes on the stream as we move on to Middlesbrough versus West Brom. Get your predictions in. Borough draw, West Brom. Borough draw, West Brom. Absolute textbook Middlesbrough and West Brom this weekend, isn't it? Middlesbrough played apparently quite well at Bristol City, created a load of chances and didn't take any of them until Matt Crooks headed in the corner and they lost 2-1. West Brom had a load of chances at 0-0 against Luton, didn't take any of them and lost 2-0. These are the two teams that we've talked about most in terms of XG, creating chances, not taking them. Obviously, it's damaged West Brom a fair bit more than it's damaged Middlesbrough because Middlesbrough are actually good, aren't they? And we just think they would go from good to very good, whereas West Brom are not very good and they need to go to good, if you know what I mean. So I think Middlesbrough are a better team than West Brom. Brucey has had a bad start with the Baggies. He's been in there 3 games. Maybe the first game, red card for Livermore, Sheffield United in form. Okay, park that one. The 0-0 against Blackburn was a bit rank, wasn't it? We watched that one, didn't we? And then 2-0 against Luton with those chances missed. I know Luton are good, but it's been a poor start. No goals for Brucey yet. And I think Wilder's going to see him coming here possibly, isn't he? Get your predictions in. Borough draw, Baggies, Middlesbrough draw, West Brom on this one. Let me give you some numbers. Form table, Middlesbrough by 18, 1-8. Homes and aways, Middlesbrough by 16. And in terms of goals, both sides have got good defence. In fact, West Brom, second fewest goals conceded in the league, Middlesbrough fourth. In the table, it's Middlesbrough by 4 as well. So look, anything to do with form essentially has Middlesbrough winning this. However, we can't ignore on paper, I know football's not played on paper, that Steve Bruce is very experienced and probably will get them moving at some point. And West Brom have got a load of good players. That can't be completely ignored. But if we look at the form, you're surely siding with Middlesbrough on this one. Me putting ideas in your head. Hit the like button. See if you can get us up to 50 by the time we get onto the Nathan Jones derby in a minute. But first of all, Middlesbrough draw or West Brom. Let's have a look and see what you lot are saying in the chat here. We are starting there with David. Borough. 0-0. There it is. Worth. Sorry, I'm so childish. 0-0. A couple of 0-0s in there. Borough. 0-0. Score draw. Borough 0-0 draw. Lots of draws and nil-nillers in here. I think Bruce is going to batten down the hatches against Chris Wilder, yeah? Borough, Baggies. Baggies, no idea how they didn't score against it. Well, they didn't, and that's been symptomatic, hasn't it, for Baggies this season? Borough. Bruce's anti-bounce. What's the opposite of a bounce? Just nothing happening, yeah? Right, yeah. Okay, draw, Borough, 0-0. I think we've seen how poor our midfield was. Pereira was really good, wasn't he? Especially in the Championship. He was good in the Premier League as well, wasn't he? There you go. There's a joker, James. There's one from Wolfgang as well. Wolfgang, what a great name. Borough, are we over 50 likes? Unbelievable scenes. Thank you, everybody. Dad joke there from Mr. E. West Brom going downhill to join the Winter Olympics. Borough, quite a few nil-nils in here. A belly flop. Yeah, fair comment. Good old Brucey. To disprove the new manager bounce. Absolutely. Well, I never believed in it in the first place, Ollie, but look, it's just the name that I have an issue with. I think I'm with most of you lot. I think West Brom are going to get their first goal under Brucey, but they're just not as good as Middlesbrough at the moment. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Brucey will have a run of 4 wins in 6 at some point soon. He just will. He always does. Not yet, though. So I'm going to go home. And I said I think they'd score. Neither team's prolific, are they? So I'm sorry. It's going to be a predictable, friendly 2-1 here. And it's going to be to Borough, in my humble opinion. 15-2 over at betfair.com for that one. Please gamble responsibly if you do head over. You guys are amazing at supporting all our partners here. So do check out betfair.com if you do fancy a responsible tipple over there, 18 plus only. Thank you for all the likes. I think we're over 50, aren't we? Let me double check. 60 likes. Unbelievable. Can we get to 75? Hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. Will help more people do the same. Right. It is the Nathan Jones Derby. Stoke versus Luton. I wrote about this earlier for Football 365. You can check that out. And I tried to comically say Nathan Jones going back to his former club with his current club, who are also his former club. All very incestuous when it comes to Nathan Jones, Stoke and Luton. Get your predictions in. Potters draw, Hatters, Potter. Stoke draw or Luton in this one. Luton are good right now. Stoke, I think, are going to be good in about 3 weeks' time once everything's settled down. I've been saying that about Stoke and Birmingham now since the window closed, and not quite come to pass in either prediction there. So, I don't know, disregard that if you want. Luton had a really key win, didn't they, against the Baggies we just mentioned. That was 9th against 10th. And Luton are in there. They're 2 points off the playoffs. It's going to be hard, though, because even though Luton are sort of 5th in the form table, the 2 teams above them are Middlesbrough and Sheffield United, who were 1st and 2nd in the form table. So Luton have just got to keep their head down, keep winning, and they've got to pick up some away wins as well. Is this a chance for the Hatters up at Stoke against Michael O'Neill? His boys drew 2-2 against Birmingham. They did surrender a lead in that one, but they did also come back from 1-0 down to be 2-1 up. Get your predictions in. Stoke draw Luton. Stoke draw Luton. Let's have a look at the numbers before we go into the predictions. Form table, Luton by 14. Woof. Homes and aways, Luton by 8. And the only thing to write home about in terms of goals is Luton are in the top 6 for goals scored. Table, Luton by 5. This is another one where all the numbers are going Luton's way, but we can't ignore the well-stocked, expensive squad at Stoke. They've got some quality there, haven't they? We can't ignore it completely on the basis of recency stuff. Let's have a look and see what you guys think. Get your predictions in. Stoke draw Luton in this one. Stoke always beat us. Oh, dear. Right, Stoke, Luton, draw Luton. Desmond, Luton. Are they going to free fall it again? I've done the last couple of seasons. Stoke, my theory about Luton is they have to score first. Maybe. Stoke, high scorer there. Draw Luton. Luton have a capital poor record against Stoke. There's a couple of Hatters fans pointing out. Luton, Hatters, draw. Draw. Do you know what, Ollie? I Googled someone sent me the Desmond Tutu picture. BenjaminBloomMusic@gmail.com. Someone send me one and I'll pop. I did have a look earlier. Draw, score, draw, Stoke, Luton, Stoke, Stoke, draw. Evening, Brian. Draw, Luton, draw, Stoke, draw. One more down there. Luton. What do I think? I can't get off the fence for this one. I agree with all you guys saying that Stoke have a good record against Luton and they're good enough to beat them. I'm not sure they are, but draw. Let's land right down the middle on this one. 1-1 for me. Stoke good defensively, aren't they? Luton, I think, are better than Stoke at the moment. But, with all of those factors we've considered, I'll land on a draw, which you'll get 5-1 for over at betfair.com. Please gamble responsibly. Onward and upwards for us. Well, onward and downwards. You know how this show works. Preston versus Nottingham Forest. Get your predictions in, guys. North End, draw, Forest. Preston, draw or Forest. Hit the like button. 66 on the likes. Let's see if we can get that one up to 75. More importantly, get your predictions in for Preston versus Nottingham Forest. Forest didn't play at the weekend. Obviously, that game got cancelled on Friday night. Preston will wish they didn't play because they lost at home to Reading. That was a bit of a coupon buster, that, wasn't it? Both teams going in completely opposite directions. Bang, crash, wallop, Championship, Lucas Shaw, Bish, Bash, Bosh, Preston 2, Reading 3. So they need a bounce back. Forest are good, though, aren't they? And Forest are good away from home as well. And, we'll give you the numbers. Preston aren't particularly good at home over the past 8 games, it has to be said. Get your predictions in. Preston, draw, Forest. Preston, draw, Forest. 8-game form table, Forest by 4. Forest are actually 8th in that. I thought they'd be higher. There's been a little regression to the mean, possibly. They've been banging the points out for the longest time under Steve Cooper, haven't they? The homes and aways interests me, actually. Preston 21st, Forest 7th over the last 8 games. And Forest are in the top 6 for both goals scored and fewest goals conceded. Preston 16th for both in the table. Also Forest by 3. A lot of stuff pointing me in the direction of Forest, I have to say, in this one. Can they get that quality from Brennan Johnson, Keenan Davis, Philip Zinkernagel up front? Or can Preston, Dan Johnson, Emil Rees, Cameron Archer, very good at the moment? I don't know. Am I talking myself round the other way? Let's have a look and see what you guys are saying in this one. Preston versus Forest. We'll start here. Forest, Desmond, Forest, draw. Forest, Preston disappointed at the weekend. Forest, draw. Forest, draw. Draw, Forest. Forest. Trickies are good away. Yes, they are. Oh, I closed down the sin bin, Hamza. I felt like a big bully. There was one somewhere. Had President Trump on it, didn't it? Forest, draw. Forest. Bring back the sin bin. Oh, I don't know if I can do it. We'll raise that in the Q&A. We can discuss it properly, whether the sin bin needs to come back. I think I am going to go with Forest on this one. I just think when we look at the end of the season, I think Forest will be, 4, 5, 6 places above Preston, I think, in the end. And in the end, boo-woo, away, the love you make is equal to the love, boom, 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 you take. Oh, bow, bow, Preston 1, Nottingham Forest 3. I'm going to sing you the entire end of the Abbey Road album by the Beatles there. 20-1. Wow. What is going on there? Betfair don't think my prediction's very likely. So get on that if you want. 20-1. A 3-1 win for Preston, for Nottingham Forest at Preston. 4 to go, guys. Stick with me. Please hit that like button. Keep those likes coming in. Help push the stream. Bristol City versus Coventry. Good luck calling this one is all I will say. Bristol City draw or Coventry. Robins draw. Sky Blues. We watched Coventry against Cardiff. I didn't think they were bad. They were just a bit hapless, weren't they? They had a good dominant period. Didn't take their chances. Joel Bagan puts a really nice finish in with the right foot and end up losing it 2-0. When you think, press the advantage. They could have won that one, couldn't they? They did win at the weekend against Barnsley, did Coventry. In the last minute, at home, with a centre-half banging a goal. It feels like the early part of the season. Coventry did that a lot. Bristol City are mental, aren't they? They are an odd team. They are capable of scoring 2 or 3 goals in any game. they are also capable of conceding 3, 4 or 5 goals in any game as well. So, I don't know. What do we get? Vyman, excellent. Semenyo, excellent. Good players in there. They can't defend, though, can they? Bristol City. Get your predictions in. Really hard one to call, this one, in my opinion. Bristol City draw Coventry. Bristol City draw Coventry. Numbers. Coventry in the form by 7. Homes and aways. Bristol City are the 4th best home team in the league over the last 8 games. That's how weird Bristol City are at the moment. They're also 5th for goals scored in the Championship, yet they've been quite rubbish for quite big portions of the season. I don't get it. Bristol City 22nd for defence. So in the table, Coventry by 6. Basically, we know what we're going to get from Coventry. We haven't got a clue what we're going to get from Bristol City, but they're quite good going forward. You tell me in the chat, Bristol City draw or Coventry. Let's dive in here and see what you lot are saying here. Right, draw. Robins, draw. Robins, draw. Cov, 0-0. Both these sides inconsistent. Perhaps. Can't argue with that. Draw, 2-2. Robins, draw. It's weird me saying Robins when Coventry's manager's called Mark Robins, but I mean Bristol City, of course. Cov, City, 8 home wins from 11. They are so weird, aren't they? Bristol City, draw. Both sides won at the weekend. Both sides haven't won 2 in a row for some time. Interesting draw. Good win Saturday. Bristol City having back-to-back wins all season. Why doesn't that surprise me? Bristol City, draw. Is anybody keeping track of my predictions? Rusty, there's literally a leaderboard on Football 365. Wow. Hope we win. We can attack. We can't defend. Fair point. Draw. First back-to-back wins of the season for Bristol City. Home. What do you mean, of course? Don't say of course. We vote with our brains, not our hearts here, hopefully. Although emotions are your friend. Don't let them override your logic, Liam. I think you're about half an hour behind there, Greenfly. We've done that game. Desmond, Cov, and Cov there. Well, I think that's the same prediction. Twice. I can't call it. I think there'll be goals, so I'll go for a scoring draw. Draw! But I will, and if I did have a picture of the late Archbishop Tutu, I would put that one up because I'll do it. I'll go for a 2-2. Whenever we get one like this, we seem to land on a 2-2. It never seems to happen, but I can't fathom anything else, really. 11-1 over at betfair.com on a Desmond between Bristol City, who've got very good attackers currently, but we're not entirely sure about how consistent they are. And Coventry, better home than they are away, but a little bit inconsistent as well. So I'll go for a 2-2. And sorry, what was the price? My bad. 11-1 over at betfair.com. 3 to go, and it is Derby versus Millwall. Let me give you another plug for likes. 73 likes. We're only 2 off. Hit the like button and we'll be at 75 likes. That will make me very, very happy. Derby versus Millwall. Derby draw Millwall. Rams draw Lions. If memory serves correct, because I've been to one of these, Millwall love a little 1-0 win away at Derby, don't they, if memory serves correctly? I can remember a couple of them, actually, over the past 5-6 years, I guess. Look, Derby are the kind of story down at the bottom of the table, but Derby don't score many goals, and Tom Lawrence will be suspended. Millwall don't concede many goals. I don't know. I think I know where I'm leading with this one, but look, Derby need to win now, especially if Zhao and Swift and Maite are going to click for Reading. They need to keep on Reading's tails, is all I'll say about that, with the 5-point gap at the moment. Get your predictions in on this one. Derby draw or Millwall? Rams draw. Mill. So in the form, Derby by 1. Homes and aways. Here's an interesting one. Derby by 17. Millwall aren't good away from home. Derby are excellent at home. We expect it's going to be full as well up at Pride Park. And as I said, neither side, both sides in the bottom 6 for goals scored. Millwall in the top 6 for goals or fewest goals conceded. In the league table, Millwall by 8, but that's not a real number. Millwall would only have 1 more point than Derby if it wasn't for the 21 points deduction. What are you lot saying in the chat on this one? Can I get a mill from anybody as well? Always good fun. Right, Darby, 0-0. Darby. Mill. Darby with a joker. Darby, Mill. Darby to continue the great escape. Type of game you can see Millwall win. It's just like that, aren't they, Millwall? Quieting down that stadium. Mill, Rowett, Rams, Darby win, joker. You can play the joker if you want, Jay, but points per game, you don't have to. Darby have a poor record against Millwall at home. Yes, they do. Mill, 0-0, draw, Mill, 0-0, Mill. Let me click on as many of these as I can. There you go. I haven't played my 0-0 yet, and I'm playing it right now on the basis both sides are good defensively. Tom Lawrence, who's Derby's best attacker, is not going to be there. So I'm going to go for a 0-0, which means I have to plug absolutely nothing into the Football 365 predictor game. But I will give you the price from Betfair. Short-ish, 13-2. Please gamble responsibly. Fancy following that. I just wonder, will the prevailing atmosphere carry Derby over the line in that one? But I've got to play my 0-0 card at some point, just because I want to see Dice and Warnock as many times as is humanly. Oh, Dice won 3-0 away at the weekend. Goodness me. Right, 2 to go. Hit the like button. See if you can take us towards 100 likes during this here stream. We'll go to a bit of Q&A after we've done these last two. Reading versus Birmingham. Get your views in. Reading, draw, Blues. Reading, draw, Birmingham. Royals, draw, Blues. Get your predictions in for this one. Excellent away win for Reading at the weekend. And if I were a Derby fan, I would not like the sight of Lucas João scoring twice and leaving a guy on his arse and smacking one in the top corner. And I wouldn't like to see the sight of John Swift and Lucas João combining brilliantly as they did. I've said it here for the longest time. Reading, chaos would have taken them down. They've got good players and they've got a 5-point lead. So I know everyone's got their eyes on Derby. All I would say is if you have one eye on Derby, have another eye on Lucas João and John Swift. I'm just putting it out there right now because that is still a 5-point gap. And those two players are good players. Lucas João scored 19 goals last season. John Swift has 22 goal contributions, and he's the first player to 10 goals, 10 assists this season. Can they keep them fit? Can they keep them on the pitch? Can they keep them firing? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. If they do, they'll win some games between now and the end of the season. Put it that way. Paul Ince in at Reading. Look, it's just a new voice, isn't it? It's an interim manager. He's not going to change much. He's just going to try and keep things moving, isn't he? Ince. But we do now have Manchester United legend Paul Ince against Manchester United icon Wayne Rooney down in the Great Escape picture. We haven't spoken about Birmingham either. Birmingham aren't very good defensively, but I like the cut of their jib up front with Hernandez, Taylor and Bakuna. I think that will get goals. I don't think it's as good as João Swift, Maite Ajari, I have to say, but what you're going to do. Birmingham, we should point out, if we've got any Blues fans, they'll smarten me up in the comments. I don't think they had any centre-backs at the weekend. I think, who did they play? Christian Pedersen in one of the spots. I can't remember who they played in the other position in there, but it didn't have any centre-halves. So I don't know whether that will still be the case there. Get your predictions in. Royals draw, Blues, Reading draw, Birmingham in this one. Right, form. Birmingham by 3. Bad for both, has to be said. Homes and aways. Birmingham by 3. Reading, worst home record in the league over the last 8 games. This is my problem with Reading, is that I wonder whether it's troughed. I don't think it can get any worse, and I think it might trend up again now. I don't know. I'll stop labouring that point. Neither side can defend, and Birmingham, we don't think, have many defenders there. Table, Birmingham by 3. However, if you added back the 6 points on, it would be only a 5-point gap rather than the 11-point gap there currently exists between these two clubs. Let me read your predictions, then I'll give you mine. Reading, draw, or a Birmingham. Apologies if you're seeing any spam in the chat. I will. There you go. There's your sin bin back. Right. Where are we starting with this one? There. David. Blues. Draw. Iain's bringing in his own coaching team. Both teams to score is a good bet. Yeah. Check out our friends on WhiteHartDane as well, who we're involved with on Saturday, if I'm allowed to say that, whilst I'm partnered with Betfair at the same time. I know they promote Betfair on WhiteHartDane, so there you go. I'll tread carefully. Brum, Reading. High scoring draw. Reading, Blues, draw. 2-1 Reading to go 8 points clear of Darby. There you go. Unhelpful draw. Would be unhelpful, wouldn't it? Well, less so for Birmingham, but certainly would for Reading. Brum, Blues, draw. Reading, never a dull moment. Actually, I think I led a column with there's never a dull moment at Reading. So, yeah, I agree. Let's click on as many of these as possible. Max Collin played centre back. Thank you, David. Sorry if you don't get your comment read out. I'll click on all of them, else we'll be here all day. There we go. Plenty of calls in that. I've got a sneaking suspicion for Reading now. And again, I would be worried if I was a Darby fan about those good attacking players that weren't there in the bad run who are now back for Reading. Any kind of bump, hashtag new manager bounce. And I think Reading can push towards the 30-point mark fairly expediently and then chase between Darby and Reading, we think, for the rest of the season. Home. I'm going to go for a mad one here just because I'm feeling cantankerous. I'm going to go 3-2. I think someone said 3-3 in the chat, so I'm not the most ridiculous or high-scoring prediction here. Apologies to that person who put that prediction in. 3-2, massive price. Massive! 25-1. You fancy a bit of that? Probably not, but if you do, you're going to get 25-1 over at betfair.com. Please gamble responsibly. 1 to go, guys. Hull versus Barnsley. Get your predictions in. Hull, draw. Barnsley, Tigers, draw, or Tykes. The Barnsley revival didn't last very long. Hit the like button, by the way. 82 likes. Come on. Let's get to 100 before the end of the Q&A portion of this show. Barnsley won one game, didn't they? They beat QPR at home, and then they were back to losing in the last minute against Coventry. They've got to go away to Hull. Hull had been on a bad run, and they are 5 without a win, but they have drawn at Sheffield United and at QPR. And if you are a side in the bottom 5, which Hull are, and you're playing away at 2 top 6 teams and you're not losing, albeit Sheffield United were not in the top 6, but they are currently a top 6 team if you take my point. That's all right, isn't it? Oh, that's all right, mama. I think that's an all right result. So I think Hull might trend a little bit more middling. I don't think they're going to trend up. They've had a 4-game win streak and a 3-game win streak this season. I don't think we've seen anything like that. But you might get Arveladze now start to imprint his style a little bit more than he has been able to thus far. Predictions in Hull, draw, Barnsley, Hull, draw, or Barnsley. Numbers tell me Hull in the form by 10, Hull in the homes and aways by 11. Goals scored, both rubbish, 22nd and 24th. Goals against, Barnsley in the bottom 6. Table, Hull by 4. And obviously that would be by 3 were it not for Derby's points deduction. Get your predictions in Hull, draw, or Barnsley. Let's see what you lot are saying in the chat here. Where am I going to land? Oh, I just don't know where to begin. Draw. It's 3 in a row to begin with. There you go. Tigers, 0-0. Tigers, draw, Hull. The Angus MacDonald Derby. Dun. Angus. Tigers, 0-0. Tigers, Hull. Joker on Barnsley. Draw, Hull. Hull just had their pitch torn up by the rugby team. We'll see if that affects anything, Wolfgang. 4-1 Tigers. £2 a ticket. Good to see, Finn. Let's get some youngsters in watching over at Hull. Barnsley Joker there. That wasn't a prediction, so I'm going to say 0-0 or a lucky 1-0 win. Hull and a draw. I think I'm going to go with Hull on this one. I think they're going to turn the corner a little bit after 5 without a win. And Barnsley have consistently been the worst team in the league, even though Peterborough are challenging them for that over the last sort of 12 games or so. But home. Let's see if those £2 tickets can rumble on Hull. Ramble on! Hull 2, Barnsley 0 is what I've got written down on my sheet of paper. I do change my mind sometimes, but I'm not going to change my mind from that. I know they've had a bit of a tweak up top with Keener and Bussey coming in there, but I'll go for Hull. Maybe Marcus Force is going to start to score goals now, the Brentford loanee. 7-1 over on betfair.com for that one. Right, Q&A time. We can do probably about 13 minutes before I get a message saying, get your ass downstairs, Ben, and look after your daughter. So get your Q&A questions in. Any topics you want to talk about. We glossed over postponements and things of that nature. If you anything you want to bring up, open call now for the Q&A. New managers going out, all of that good stuff. Sorry, I shouldn't remove that yet. Thank you to Betfair and Football 365. I'm just going to round up my predictions. Well, hopefully some Q&A topics come in and we'll get as many as we can. Before I do that, one more plug for likes. 85. Can we get another 15? Can we get one per minute for the remainder of the hour and get ourselves up to 100? That will be tremendous, won't it? Right, let's round up predictions here. I have got Bristol City and Coventry drawing, Hull over Barnsley, Borough over West Brom, Forest over Preston, Swans and Bournemouth are not playing, Reading over Birmingham, Derby and Mill I've got drawing, Fulham and Posh I've got Fulham, I'll be at that game. QPR and Blackpool draw. I've got Blades over Rovers. I've got Terriers over Bluebirds. I've got Stoke and Luton drawing in the Nathan Jones derby. All you have to do now is submit your predictions and hit confirm. Make sure you've got everything set up over at Football 365. And yeah, my accumulated odds don't appear to be appearing on there. But there you go. That is the end of the Football 365 predictor on there. Right. Shall we do some questions? What have we got in the chat? Has anybody ever gone a whole season without winning away? Do you know, I think Leeds United, not long after they were champions, literally champions of England, went a whole season without winning away. Can't remember the last team to do it in the Championship. Someone will smarten me up. If the sin bin comes back, can we get Boris Johnson as the pitcher? Well, the link with President Trump was it was the fake news sin bin. So, yeah, any excuse not to put politicians on there. But, hey, if there's a reason, we can get him on there, can't we? Thomas, Coventry look like we're one player short of being a good team. Who do you think could realistically bring in over the summer to bridge the gap? Pass. I think what's more key is using the recruitment. So, never being scared to sell, whether that's Hamer or O'Hare, and then you can bring in a couple of players. I don't think at the moment adding one player to Coventry takes them that much higher. I think it has to be the cycle. But no, they're a well-coached team. We were talking about it on the Blue Monday podcast yesterday, but when Coventry were playing against Ipswich in League One, they were miles better than everybody else. So it is now just personnel. I think they've got the coaching right in the setup. So, yeah, we'll see. Do you think Derby will survive, or will they be like Wednesday once they fall apart, get close, fall apart under pressure? That could happen, Kenny. That could happen. It's exactly what happened to Sheffield Wednesday. They had the -6, didn't they? And they kind of made it up at one point, then dropped off. And then when they got close again, couldn't do it. I will repeat, I don't see Derby catching Hull or Cardiff. So I think the entire population of Derby should be looking at Lucas Zhao and John Swift rather than anything else at the moment, because those two players can make sure that Derby not only don't catch Hull and Cardiff, but they don't catch Reading either, which is the key. Where do I think Hull will finish? Bottom 7 at best, possibly. Not entirely sure there. Blackburn postponed 45 minutes before, didn't have the undersoil heating on. Should they be investigated by the EFL? I don't know, David. I don't know what the protocols are there. Was it snow? Sometimes the undersoil heating makes absolutely no difference if it's a heavy snowfall or a waterlogged pitch. It doesn't do anything, does it? So I would assume if there was impropriety, they would have been investigated. I think I'm not saying you are, David. I think we're quite quick to jump on conspiracy theories very quickly. With my feed has been full of it. So hopefully, if the EFL are fit for purpose, they would have made sure, and Blackburn are fit for purpose. How about a show for the teams that have been relegated to League One? We did try it, Daniel. We did it with nappers, didn't we? I haven't been able to keep up with it, I'm afraid. Just not enough hours in the week. But I would recommend Napper's channel for any League One content. He knows way more about it than me. Just a comment, but Posh were the worst team I've seen play at Derby in years. Well, there you go. Will there be a video soon to predict the top 6? Absolutely, Sam. We will get it done. Who's the best commentary sitting player in your opinion? I mean, there's best and there's my favourite. My favourite's probably Gus Hamer, but Callum O'Hare's probably got a bigger upside because he can make chances and make goals. Or maybe Hamer because he can be attractive to the European market. I don't know. Bournemouth fixture pile up. Will it affect them, or is their squad big enough to deal with it? Probably both, Dave, actually, to give a very woolly answer. It will affect them, of course. I don't know whether they'll get a Rotherham 4-game week. Do you remember when Rotherham played Sunday, Tuesday? No, Friday. What did they play? Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, or something ridiculous like that. But yeah, they should have a big enough squad to deal with it, shouldn't they? A bit of rotation in those games, and all being well, they can get through. I don't think they'll have to do a 4-game week, will they? We'll see. On the Blades for second train yet? No, I'm not. No, Sheffield United are 9 points behind Bournemouth and have played a game more. Well, put it this way. Let me answer that with a question, James. How many points do you think Sheffield United are going to finish with? And then I'll tell you whether I think Bournemouth will get more or less, or I think you've just predicted Sheffield United to win 13 out of their last 15 games, which probably won't happen, will it? So we'll see. Derby will have to improve their away record to survive. Yes, they will. They're going to need just a little bit of help there, aren't they? Are Sheffield United best placed for a late run for automatic promotion with 5 home games out of the last? I mean, we've just been talking about this. Look, for Sheffield United to finish second, what will need to happen is we'll need some kind of collapse from Bournemouth. Okay, so let's assume it will be something like 82 points. Let's assume Sheffield United finish with 82 points and it's low, and Bournemouth finish with 81 or 82 and they beat them on goal difference. That would mean Sheffield United would need 32 points from the remaining 15 games. So over 2 points per game form. That's difficult. And that would also mean Bournemouth would only score 24 points from their remaining 16 games. When you actually do the maths, unless you get a monumental collapse from Bournemouth, i.e., something akin to Leeds losing 9 in 16, which they did at the end of the 18-19 season, it's unlikely, is all I'm saying. It could happen. Do you see both things happening at the same time? Sheffield United winning 10 out of the last 15 and Bournemouth stinking it out to that extent? Put it this way, for second place, if Bournemouth were average, and let's say average is 1.4 points per game, okay? So 1.4 points per game normally gets you 10th place. So if Bournemouth were average or 10th place form for the rest of the season, 1.4 times 16 games, they'd score another 22 points, exactly what we just said. So plus the 58 they've got. So if Bournemouth are 10th place form for the rest of the season, they'll get 80 points. And we then know Sheffield United need to have pretty much second place form for the rest of the season. Well, actually, first place form, 2 points per game isn't it? So that's the numbers. And what we're talking about, I think there's more chance of Sheffield United scoring lots and lots of points than there is of Bournemouth completely collapsing off a cliff. There you go. Any more questions here? If Derby stay up and get ownership sorted and allow Rooney to bring in players, what is our ceiling under Rooney? Who knows? You might be back in exactly the same dilemma going against parachute teams. We know how that ended, Lewis. But look, Rooney's doing a very, very good job. The job changes, though, as soon as they become viable. It's not a firefighting job. So we'll see how he does. But he's done well thus far, hasn't he? Rusty, I do not condone betting science, but could you please... No! Look it up yourself. Jesus Christ. Go on football365.com. I don't, Rusty, email me. I'm not sure if you've got a problem with people predicting results, but it's coming across a bit weird now. So yeah, if you've got a problem, send me an email. Keep it out of my chat and don't ruin it for everybody else. But we're making predictions, mate. I don't know. Do you want to give me your win-loss record? I'm not tipping. I'm making predictions. And yeah, like I say, if you've got a problem with it, send me an email, benjaminbloommusic@gmail.com, and don't clog the chat out with this nonsense, frankly. What about a Sheffield United Borough playoff final? Could happen, indeed. Do you think school grades matter in the grand scheme? It depends on the person, doesn't it, Kenny? They're not the be-all, end-all of life, but try hard in school and get the best grades you can and work from there, I think. Matt, do you think Rotherham will eventually consolidate in the Championship? They seem particularly strong this year. Possibly. Yeah, possibly. They've stunk it out the last couple of times. They've been relegated, haven't they? So you've almost got to hope for someone like Rotherham that we get some sort of free-fall thing from somebody else. It does rely on... But Rotherham are the textbook example. 2018-19, they made a profit, got relegated. So Rotherham show you exactly what happens if you... I always get all these comments when we're talking about Championship money, and we get these ridiculously oversimple comments of, oh, just spend within your means. If everybody spends within their means, they'll be okay. Yeah, and you have the 3 parachute teams on 90 points or whatever, and teams like Rotherham getting relegated and making a profit. So, yeah, that sounds fun, doesn't it? What else have we got here? Chris Wilder, Darby in the playoff final. Yeah, we will see how it goes indeed. Did you see the stat that West Brom haven't had an assist from a midfielder since October? I did not, but that is not good indeed. Who's likely to come in at Peterborough? I don't know. Everyone keeps telling me it's going to be Grant McCann, but that seems like putting 2 and 2 together and making 5, doesn't it? Going to have a drink and yeah, absolutely, of course. You don't need to give me an excuse to drink, do you? Are we 2 off 100 likes? Hit the like button. I'll keep going up into the hour and hopefully get there. JC, do you think Blackburn will drop out of the playoff positions? Given the current direction of travel, that's what's going to happen, especially with Sheffield United, Middlesbrough and Forest going great guns. If Luton can keep up and add some away points as well, they're in that mix. It could happen. It could really, really happen. It'll be tight. Bournemouth still to come to Bramall Lane, as have most of the big boys. Exactly. But James, do you take my point? Ask me in a few weeks if Bournemouth have lost 2 out of 3 or something and it's getting close up. What else have we got? Well, Rusty, that's great if you're an ex-gambling addict. Obviously, you know, your problems, we're pleased if you've overcome them. Maybe it's not the time or place to discuss this, and I'm happy to discuss it with you privately. benjaminbloommusic@gmail.com is my email. I'm just a bloke trying to make a living, okay? And Betfair have been nothing but good to me, I have to say. And we literally carry the begambleaware.org and always promote responsible gambling. So I don't know what else more I can do in terms of just trying to make a living. But I'm more than willing to talk to you about that outside of a live stream. Put it that way, if that's fair enough. Leeds to come back now. No, I don't see it. Wolfgang, I think there's plenty 3 worse teams than that. Do you think Darby can push for playoffs next season? I doubt it'll go straight from where they are to there now. I think Peterborough will point Darren Ferguson for a change, absolutely. Do you think West Brom will miss out on the playoffs at the moment? Yes, absolutely, I do. Seems a long way back. Right, thank you, everybody, for watching. Did we get 100 likes in the end? Yes, we did 105. Congratulations. And thank you to everybody there. Look, we're going to be back tomorrow. We'll likely be doing a watch along. I'm not organised enough to be able to tell you what that is. And I will be at Fulham versus Peterborough. I'm leaving the house, everybody, after the pandemic and the birth of my daughter 6 months ago. I'm going to a football match. Unbelievable scenes. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, as ever, to our sponsors, Betfair. Please gamble responsibly, everybody. And Football 365. Thank you, everybody, for your support to our partners. Most of you come from a position of empathy towards myself, that we are just trying to make a go of things on the channel. So I thank you all for that, even though we get the odd person who tends to make a song and dance about it. But I'm happy to talk to all of those people off platform, of course. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll put all your nice comments there up across the advert, and I'm going to go and have some soup, I think. Rock and or roll. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow night. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. To see more videos from this channel, hit the subscribe button. And to be notified every time we upload, ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.